So hi everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the Olympus 14-42 kit lens versus the Olympus 25mm f1.8. So I get a lot of questions about, what lenses do I recommend? And my answer is always, get the 40-150 $99 plastic fantastic zoom lens from Olympus. Because that'll really expand your photography beyond what you can do with your kit lens by virtue of the focal length alone. But a lot of you already got that lens, right, with the camera when you bought it, or maybe you've bought it, off another recommendation. I did a video on it about a couple months back and compared it against my pro lenses. But, after that, what's next, right? And that's a much more difficult question to answer because it really depends on the kind of photography you do. So the best I can do really is talk about each lens individually, compare it against what you already have, the 14-42, and then hopefully that'll help you make a better decision whether or not you want to buy this lens. Because a lot of the reviews I see online, all they do really is they talk about the one lens. And when you watch the review, you're like, man, this is an awesome lens. I gotta go get that lens. But I mean, compared to what, right? I mean, compared to the kit lens, is it really any better? Are you really going to see that much difference in the depth of field? Are you really going to be able to shoot in lower light? Is it really going to focus any faster based off what you already have? Because this is not a cheap lens either. I mean, this is $300 on sale, $400, full price. You may not want to spend that kind of money when you see the difference, or you might decide, yeah, I definitely want to get this lens now based on what I'm going to show you here in a couple minutes. So that's what I'm going to do for you. Is I'm going to go through each lens in my bag and do that comparison against the 14-42 kit lens to help you make that decision. And today we're going to start with this 25mm f1.8. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a couple pictures, and basically we're going to be comparing the shallow depth of field, right? Because that's really why you buy a prime lens for the most part. So what I've done today, a little bit different, is, I'll be standing here by my tree as usual, but I parked my Jeep here kind of halfway between myself and this tall tree right over here with the ivy growing on it, so that you can kind of get a sense of how shallow the depth of field becomes at different distances. All right, so I got everything set up, and basically I'm going to be shooting the kit lens wide open at 25mm, and wide open meaning it's at f4.4. So let's see how the sharpness is and the depth of field is, and then we'll take a picture with this. All right, so let's just do a quick video autofocus test between the two lenses. So I'm just going to walk around this tree 3 times in and out of frame and see how well the camera picks up focus again, and in particular if the 25mm helps it out at all. Now in theory it should, because it should have better contrast and be letting more light into the camera, which should be helping the focusing system. But let's see what really happens when I walk around this tree. All right, I'll just start in the same spot from the portrait and then just do a quick walk around. I use this lens a lot for my vlogging, actually, when it's on a tripod like it is now. Okay. Let's do a product test. How's it doing? I love this little TG5. I'm going to talk about this camera one day. What if it's off to the side? All right, let's try the 14-42 kit lens. All right, we'll start here from my portrait position. How's it doing? Is it keeping up? And I've done this test a few times before, but All right, let's do a product test. Alright, so let's go inside and take a look at the 3 different pictures and compare the bokeh, depth of field, and the sharpness between the kit lens at 25 millimeters, f4.4, and the 25 millimeter Olympus at f1.8 and at f4.4. Alright, so I have the pictures I took today loaded up, and I have the kit lens on the left and the 25 millimeter prime on the right. And just looking at them straight out of camera, there's been no processing done at all. There's virtually no difference. I have them both at f4.5 here. And if you ask me to spend, you know, $300 or $400 for a prime lens at f4.5, yeah, no way, right? But let's pixel peep a little bit and take a look at the hairline. And yeah, the 25 millimeter here is definitely sharper. Not so much so that I couldn't make the kit lens pretty close, if not better, with a little bit of sharpening and post-processing, but straight out of camera, this is sharper. But kudos to the kit lens, good job. Let's look at the quality of the bokeh. Yeah, again, the prime lens is a little smoother. This has more of a soap bubble type look to it. And let's check the shiny areas. Not bad, a little bit of green and purple chromatic aberrations here. There's some here, but it's not as pronounced, which makes sense because the prime lens is stopped down. And let's look at my watch. Alright. Yeah, prime lens again sharper, but what I'm noticing here is a little bit of purple fringing here, and there's none over here, so very good. I mean, I would not spend the money to get the lens if this is all it would do, but you're buying this lens so you can shoot at f1.8, right? So let's take a look at that. And yeah, right away you can see this area here got a little blurrier. And the question now is, do you spend $300 or $400 more to get this background versus this background? And I would say yes. I mean, over hundreds or thousands of pictures, you're gonna like these more than you're gonna like these. When you just look at them one-to-one like this, you might be thinking, well, I don't know if it's worth it to buy it, because this is not like a ton blurrier. It didn't just blow everything out. But over time, you'll really appreciate these kinds of pictures over these. This is looking more like a snapshot now. Let's pixel peep a little bit too. On the hairline, yeah, the prime lens got a little softer. I'd say now these two lenses are virtually equal, which makes sense because they're both wide open at f4.5 on the kit and 1.8 on the prime lens, but still not bad. You could easily sharpen this in post to get it looking really good. And remember, I'm zoomed in, you know, 2:1 here. And this is not a fair fight here because the shallower depth of field is definitely going to make this blurrier. But this gives you an idea of the quality of the bokeh coming out of the prime lens. Let's look at the chromatic aberration, because wide open these things normally get more pronounced. And yeah, the prime lens definitely has a green chromatic aberrations going on here. Maybe a tiny bit of purple, but more so than the kit lens wide open. And then let's check the collar here, or the cuff. Sharpness again is about equal. There's chromatic aberration still here, and there's none here. But look at this part right here on the cuff. There's some green aberration going on here, but none here. And then I can see some here as well, where it's not here. So the 25 millimeter prime seems to shift green a little bit more, and the kit lens seems to shift purple. But you shouldn't be concerned about those things. Those things are so easily fixed in post. But yeah, my opinion, yeah, I would get the 25mm based off these two images, because I'll save a lot of time in post-processing if I want all my pictures to be like this versus this. Now, one other thing, you know, the advantage of this prime lens is not just this blurry background, because maybe you don't care about this. Look at the shutter speeds here. I'm at 1/25th of a second here on the kit lens, but on the prime lens I'm at 1/160th. So that's roughly, let me calculate, 50, 100, and 160. So 5, so that's 1, 2, about 2.5 stops difference in terms of light. So what does that mean? These are both at ISO 200. If I were to add 2.5 stops of ISO here, or ISO, we'd be at 400, 800, plus another 4. This lens, to be at the same shutter speed, would need to be at ISO 1200. So keep that in mind. If you're shooting in low light, would you rather be at ISO 200 or ISO 1200? And that's just another advantage of the prime lens, and that escalates up very quickly. Let's say we were at ISO 400 on the prime lens. To get the same shutter speed with the kit lens, you'd have to be at 800, 1600 plus half of that. You'd be at ISO 2000 on a kit lens versus ISO 400 on this prime lens. So if you shoot in low light and you want to get less grain and less noise, the prime lens is going to help you out a lot in terms of your ISO settings. So keep that in mind as well, not just what this bokeh is doing, because you may or may not be impressed by this, but I think the ISO ratings or settings, if you were to go into low light, should impress you. And again, the sharpness is very, very good. All right, everyone, so thanks again for watching. You know, if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to see more comparisons like this, just let me know down below, and I'll do my best to answer your questions and make more content that you guys find helpful. Today's actually my 2-year anniversary here on YouTube, so you know, thanks for all your support over these last 2 years. It wouldn't have been possible because you guys have been my inspiration and my motivation to keep coming out here and working with these Olympus cameras and to learn more about these and photography in general. In particular, your Instagram accounts. You know, I really love looking at your pictures. You guys really do an awesome job, and you're much better photographers than I'll ever be. So keep posting those pictures, and you know, hopefully we'll see you again soon.